Hey, it's Dan, and welcome to Unified Gaming. So in this one, we're going to play Trash or Grab, the game where we check the golden vendor to see what is good, or is it just absolute trash. I will also touch upon the infinite archive trader as well, and the same thing there. Should you get the stuff or should you save your fortunes? I'm also going to go through and show you where you can find a vendor, because she appears every week, and this video is recorded on the 25th of May, so the items will be different if you watch this in the future. To locate the vendor, she appears in Cyrodiil, and you can find her on the Northern High Rock Gate if you play for the blue people. If you play for the yellows, you can find her in the Western Elsewhere Gate, and if you play on the red side, you can then find her in the Southern Morrowind Gate. As I said, she appears every single week, and her stock does change, so if you are watching this in the future, it will be different. This is all recorded on the 25th of May, and if you want to stay up to date with the series where I cover future content and so on, and what she sells, then likes, comments, shares and subscribes will really help do that. If you want to get exclusive content, builds, guides and just additional stuff, in addition to early access, I do have a Patreon. There's details down below. As with the Golden O, what is she selling this week? The Golden Vendor has the following. She's selling EARTHGORE and ZAANS monster sets. These are helmets, so these can be farmed by doing the dungeon on Veteran. If you play and you do not have ESO Plus or you do not have access to these dungeons, then this is worth getting. It's a good monster set. Is it OP? No, but it's really good. When you heal yourself or a group member that is under half health, you conjure a pool around them and you heal them and cleanse. It is a really good monster set. This is great in PvE, in dungeons and stuff, because it's like an oh no button. So if someone makes a mistake as a healer, this will help keep them alive, because people do that, trust me. So this is definitely worth considering to get. If you're playing PvP, that cleanse is very powerful. And again, that 50% proc means that you have that kind of safety net for a lot of people. So if you play in a big group, for example, or you're playing with somebody who's new to PvP, this could really help keep them alive. Equally, you can make it help yourself as well, so this is definitely worth getting in my opinion. Classes that excel with this would be more healer builds in all honesty, so Wardens, Templars are quite good with this, but you could also use this on a damage dealer, ironically, just as an oh no button. If things go wrong, you've got a good chance to just stay alive. I wouldn't personally, but that is one use for it too. Then the second set we have is ZAANS. ZAANS is a set that can be quite tricky to farm. The dungeon isn't really hard, it's just got some really gimmicky mechanics. And so what ends up happening is it's more RNG. You can do things to mitigate it, but there's a good chance that you'll just die anyway just because of that RNG. With the set itself, when you deal critical damage with a light or heavy attack, you've got a 33% chance to proc a tether for 10 seconds to you and the enemy. If you stay within 8 meters of them, they will take damage, and their damage scales 100% per tick. What this means is this does loads of damage if you can keep it on the target. Cloak will break this. If they roll dodge and sprint away from it, it will break it. If they use a cleanse, it will break it. This is very powerful though if you can stick it on somebody and stick next to them. It will do a lot of damage. In some instances, it can carry enough damage just to kill a person by itself. As I said though, it's 8 seconds, so 8 meter range, and it's 10 seconds. So you've got to be really close to them, but this is definitely worth getting. The monster set's a bit awkward to farm anyway, and this is really good in PvE. So if you're using this in PvE, it's a great monster set to have anyway, and if you want to use it in PvP, it's solid too. It comes in obviously all the weights. If you're going to PvP, maybe get it in Impen. If you're going to PvE, infuse, but you probably divines it anyway, so I wouldn't stress. With these helmets, you can't trade them, so just do factor that in. And because they are helmets, they could be farmed. So if you want to save, money or AP, then consider that. Me personally, I will be buying this. I'll be spending the AP for these. I have this on Xbox already, but this is on PCEU, and I just don't want to run the dungeon again. So this is a really good week for me. So we're going to buy this one, I'm going to buy this one. So we now have the whole set. And with EARTHGORE, we've got the whole set already. For the jewelry, we have Ring of the Nightmare. This is bind on pickup, so that means that when you get this, you cannot trade it. It is a dungeon set. When you deal martial melee damage, you apply a maim to all enemies within 8 meters. It's minor maim. It is really bad. That's just the short of this. Do not get this. It's really bad. The next ring we have is Ring of the Ranger. It reduces the effectiveness of snares applied to you by 50%. This too is really bad. This is bind on equip, however, and you could buy this from other players. If you were wanting to get your sticker book filled, I would not buy this. I would just farm the set or buy it from another player if you really wanted, because it'll be a lot cheaper, but this is not worth getting. The next one you have is Sword Singers. Sword Singers is an interesting set. It adds 600 weapon and spell damage to your two-handed abilities. That's a lot of damage, and if you play it as a stamina build, in PvP particularly, you'd often use Dizzying Swing or Wrecking Blow and Executioner. This will make these go through the roof. With Scribe in next patch, you also have access to Smash, which is like a 2H channel. It's an AoE and it's pretty good. This is worth getting. It's not meta by any means, but it's a good enough set to have a bit of fun with. There are better sets in my opinion, but this is something that I would consider getting if you have some spare money lying around. Please note that this is also bind on equip, so if you do want to get this, you could buy this cheaper from other players, because yes, it's 125,000 from the vendor, players will sell this for less. And then you also have it for AP if you wish. The final one is Treasure Hunter. This is a dungeon set once again, so you have to bind this, and when you get it you can't trade it. But it gives you Mage, Savagery and Prophecy at all times. It increases your crit and spell rating by 2629, so 2,600. It's hit and miss, literally. Most classes will use something like Camo Hunter, or you'd use Inner Light, or you'd use Potions for this crit chance, or an ally will give you this buff, especially next patch. So I wouldn't stress. It's good, it's just not great. It's one of those ones where if you want to save bar space or not use a potion, or your group don't have it, then consider getting this. It's decent enough, but it's not brilliant. PvP wise, it's awful. So if you play PvP, just don't get this. This is a waste of money. PvE could have some use, but again, it's not going to be meta by any means. But that's the golden for this week. Essentially, the thing is to get all the monster pieces. If you don't have access to the dungeons, 100% get them. They're good monster pieces. And if you do have access to the dungeons, consider whether you want to go through the farm. Both dungeons are quite tedious to farm, and so for that reason alone, I would buy them just to save some time. These are good sets. And then jewelry wise, there isn't anything particularly great. Sword Singer could be good on some niche setups, and same with Treasure Hunter for PvP, but they are very niche, very hit and miss, and it's not worth it in my opinion. Sword Singer is better for PvP, Treasure Hunter is better for PvE. Again, both are very, very situational and niche. We're now going to go over to the Infinite Archive and then touch upon what you can get there, and is there anything that you really need to worry about or not. And if you like this series and you want to stay up to date with this, I do post every weekend, so likes and subs really, really help. As for the Infinite Archive, it's located in Apocrypha, and you can find it just over here. Once you get inside, the Infinite Archive will have a vendor right at the back that appears from Tuesday to Tuesday, so I always kind of touch it in this video because it's just easier that way. And they will sell leads that can get certain mythic items or sets or things. The leads are very, very good. Some of them can be for really hard to farm mythic items, so it's always worth having just a couple thousand fortunes saved, and if there is something good, just get it. The Infinite Archive vendor is located on the east side, and it's Filer All. Filer like you file in a cabinet. Filer All sell the following this week. They sell the Phoenix Moth Pigment. This is for a skin. So if you want to get a skin, it's called the Barkwood skin, I think it is. And Bark Root, sorry. It's not the best looking skin in my opinion, and you could farm this quite easily. So I would personally save this. You then have obviously just a blue one, which is pointless, and then you have the bound page for Pirate Skeleton. This is really nice. This looks awesome. If you want to have essentially wear a skull on your head, this is great. This is a really nice thing to get. So I would consider getting this for more cosmetic reasons, ironically, because if you play a Necro and stuff, it gives you that real like theme fantasy without having to go into a full polymorph. So this is really good. It's not going to change the gameplay by any means, but it's a nice looking thing. So I would consider getting Pirate Skeleton. It is bound, you can't trade this, but it's still nice. The rest of the stuff doesn't really help us in all honesty, so I wouldn't worry about these. And that's kind of it really. My recommendation for the vendor here is, I would suggest if you want to have a nice cosmetic, get the pirate skeleton mask. But if you're playing for more of a gameplay advantage or just gameplay changes, save your fortunes for this week, because as of Scriben you could buy scripts and so on and that will be much more useful. Equally, there could be better leads next week. So that's it really. That's the video in a nutshell. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to say a massive thank you for all of the support, the likes, the comments, the shares and the subscribes. Really help out. If you want to stay up to date and stuff and check my socials, there's things throughout the screen, so yeah, that's there. And I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody at Patreon. If you want to get early access, exclusive content, builds and so much more, there's details down below. But as always, I'll catch you in the next video on the next stream. So thanks for watching, take care, and bye.